It's amazing how some of these things come to mind to me when they do. My mind's like forever turning. But I just got to thinking, like I told you all, I've never been into numerology and such. I was always taught it was demonic. And once again, utilizing this as a tool for YouTube, folks. I know y'all are my sing buddies, so I'm not trying to reach y'all. If you want to hear me, that's great. If you got anything ugly to say, don't. I'm all for your opinion, but I'm not trying to argue anybody's opinion, because I got one too. So that's what I'm trying to share with you all. Anyhow, bottom line is, I just recently listened to more than one person on numerology and the master number 11, which I've shared with you all. I think I even shared here, is that I'm an 1111 baby. Not only am I an 1111 baby, and if I have already said this, forgive me if I'm repeating myself, but I lost a veteran friend of almost 11 years on 1111. So I'm really big on this whole 1111 thing. And I checked out a few channels, and it was simply amazing. This one gal, more specifically, was so on target. And it was so, everything she said rang so true to me, because, you see, growing up, I was rather shy, but very mature. I was so shy, people thought I was stuck up. And you're talking about people that I went to school with from the first grade through, 10th, part of 11th even, in a small country town. So these people thought I was stuck up. I was so shy. I was cute, didn't know it, but I was such a loner. My mother was a single parent, working all the time. I didn't socialize much. Guys, I played out in the woods, in the great outback. I was very much a loner. My parents were kind of emotionally unavailable, to say the least. I'm not going to go into too much there. There's more to that, but it is what it is. So I spent a lot of alone time. Even though I was raised on a hill with much family, I was very much alone. My mother was extremely overprotective, and I was guarded and overprotected from TV as well. And then when I got out on my own, I was so overprotected, I shielded, that I didn't know a whole lot about things. I wasn't spoke to about these things. Just you didn't do them. You respected your parents. So with that said, I'm not knocking my parents. But what I am trying to say is I wasn't prepared for the world. That's what I'm trying to tell you. So I spent a lot of my time alone. I was very intelligent, though. Any of my peers can tell you I was one of the top in my class. The entirety of my growing up, I am very much alone. And when I got out on my own by the age of 17, there was this guy. It wasn't that I was attracted to him. I hadn't even paid attention to him. I was so into my books I didn't notice him. But what had happened is I had a best friend, and her and her boyfriend, and like I said, I moved out by the time I was 17. I needed somewhere to go. So me and my best friend stuck together ultimately. They got a hotel room, and I didn't want to be by myself listening to them argue. They were into some really horrible things that I wasn't. But I was non-judgmental even then. I just had a good heart. And so I loved my friend, and she knew. She knew I wasn't into the things they were into. But there was this guy, and I didn't want to go alone. So I asked him, hey, you want to go with? I don't want to go listen to the two of them complain and argue all the time together and me be by myself. So we all went together. And then I was led into a lot of emotional and physical abuse. I became very much the doormat in life. I was the kind one. I was the people pleaser. I was the loved one. I was the, I loved everybody. And I was so shy and not spoken at all. I couldn't find my words. I couldn't stand up for myself. I was still going to school while we were all in that motel room. I was the only one, mind you. They were all staying up partying. And I'd still get up and go to school and even work. I was the only one that worked too. I worked and went to school. Well, they kept me up, late partying. And, years later, because of that relationship, though, I went through years of physical and emotional abuse, which led into deep depression. And, there's some people that only focus on master numbers and numbers such as Life Path 11, apparently, because an 11 has to go through so much strife. And I can't speak for everybody. I can only speak for me. My life has been full of strife. I was out on my own by 17. I endured much emotional and physical, psychological abuse from a very early age on forward. I've been through drug abuse. This is part of where I take my power back from you assholes. Okay, because you didn't have it to begin with. And those that love me will love the fact that I'm being human and admitting that I'm a sinner too. And although I may be ashamed of myself, because morally it was not my upbringing, understand that my life is what led me to the things I've had to do in life. So this is kind of my tell-all session for you all. Because this is where I dare even myself to see who loves me enough to stick around. And I'm real great at sabotaging relationships, so please know that. And I'm not trying to sabotage mine with y'all by any means, but I do feel, I guess when you feel like your life's being sucked dry from you by illnesses and death, you got, there's so many whistleblowers come forth, or people that come forth and tell the truth when they feel they're near death. And I guess I'm no different, because I've got nothing to lose. I've got nothing to fear, guys. This is where I take my power all back and give you my all. The ex that I got with was an asshole, narcissist, an egotistical bastard. And even to this day, mind you, after all we've been through, we're still like best of friends, even though he hurts me still sometimes. We've both grown and matured since then. We're no longer 17 and 22 like when we first got together and started this journey either. I don't love him like that. We don't have an intimate relationship. It's nothing like that. But we do have a friendship now. After all, we do have children together. Even for our kids together. But, when all that's said and done, not only did I go through that, by the time I moved out on my own by 17, by 21, I had jumped off a cliff into the lake because it was a fun thing to do, which is where I destroyed my back. Now that I'm currently telling you all this, I've now suffered 5-6 extensive back surgeries. Pain's my middle name. I know all about pain. So I get so tired of hearing people talk about childbearing pain, because I bared those too. I'm still not going to give you my age. Some of you know it, and please don't tell it, because I think it's more fun to make people guess. Because I don't hardly look as old as I am. And I've got 3 beautiful girls, all of which are almost grown. I'm proud to admit that. And I've got fixing to be 5 grandchildren now. You wouldn't look at me and believe I'm half that old, I can only bet. And now, as it is, I have the Morgellons. So I've done and led a lot in my life. I've been through drug abuse. I have been through, you name it. I've done it. I've been there. I've been raped. I've been assaulted. I've got stranded in Corpus by the time I had the back disability. I got stranded in Corpus in a town I didn't even know. Had to support my 2-year-old, and I got led into the world of topless dancing because it's all I had for survival. I'm not proud of that either. I'm rather ashamed. But you know what? I did it because I had to. So I don't care about others' judgments of me anymore. I don't. You do what you have to in life, and I did, and I've overcome it. Much love.